Welcome into Sunday mornings here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. I'm Big Al, and you're ready for PM in the AM, where three knuckleheads just talk about sports and God knows what else. Speaking of knuckleheads, welcome in Pat Bernard and Mike Lauro. Guys, what's going on?
What's going on?
What's up, gentlemen?
I see Pat's already in mid-show form.
Yes. A little itch. Mike, what's going down in Chinatown? What's up, buddy?
What's going down, Pat? We got a big day today.
Oh.
Today is a big day for Philly sports, man.
Oh, we're loaded with tons of action, Mike. It's like the old Spice Channel. You know what I mean? We are loaded with tons of things.
Here he goes.
But you right now? Okay. But anyway, Mike, let's talk about some good things right off the bat here. Let's talk, no pun intended, but this Phillies baseball team has looked. What's up, Adam? Has looked really, really good this entire week. Like a 6-game winning streak, one of the hottest teams in MLB right now, other than the Rangers, other than who else do we got there? The Rangers are playing good baseball right now. The Seattle Mariners, who are actually have an 8-game winning streak right now. There's and most importantly, what's up? Oh, here we go. And most importantly, the Mets on an 8-game losing streak. Again, listen to our guy from up north, our man Pudgy Mike, who's ready to throw himself over a bridge. He says himself he's going through a delusional state where he believes his team's actually good and they stink. But Mike, like I said, an 6-game winning streak, and it seems like moving Harrison Bader to the leadoff position has been the best move since for this guy. Did you know in his last 30 games he has 41 hits? That's unreal.
Yeah. Bader's playing really good. It was he's looking like a really good pickup for this Phillies team, I guess you could say, for the trade deadline. Him and Duran, they kind of batted an eye and poo-pooed it, but Bader just seems, I've wanted this guy for 2 years. I've been on this guy coming here and playing. So I'm not surprised because I've seen the way he played in St. Louis. He kind of tailed off a little bit when he went to the Yankees a little bit, but not everybody can play in New York. And the Mets had him a year ago and really didn't do nothing with him. Like, the Phillies are giving him his chance to play. And to me, I love it because guess what? Not only did we return the favor to the Mets and sweep them in a 4-game series out of Citizens Bank Park, we put the nail in their coffin. And guess what? As of probably 4:15, 4:30 today, as the Eagles are getting ready to kick off in Kansas City, we're going to be dancing on our own again because we're going to clinch this division. And now the Phillies can get their sights set, which, by the way, they're right behind the Milwaukee Brewers now.
And I do it like, so you actually hit me with a good thing here, because I actually thought about this. I actually put this question on Twitter, and I'm going to ask you, Al, and to the listening audience as we get into it, because it is Philly versus Kansas City day today. You got the Phillies versus the Royals. You got the Eagles taking on the Chiefs. The question today I want to throw out to people: if you could go back in time between the Royals or Chiefs history, which player, just one player at the top of your dome, would you love to see in a Phillies uniform, in a Philadelphia uniform? But, like I said, just something you could think about through the course of the show there, Mike, and you too, Al, and the listening audience. If there was one player you could have in a Philadelphia uniform, please throw it into the comments. I'd like to hear from you. I was thinking about Rich Gannon for me. I'd love to see an Eagles jersey, but we'll keep it rolling. But local product, by the way. So, yeah, but look, we got this Mets team. Mets look like they might be shipped out. Soon. Like, they might not be making to the postseason. And that's crazy because
they're not in the postseason right now. They're already
so the Reds got above them.
The Giants.
I'm sorry.
Giants are above them, and I think let me take a look.
No. They are half a game behind the Mets right now. The Giants.
Did they lose last night? They were up 3-1.
They lost last night.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. And the Reds lost too. Yeah. So
and to point something out here, Pat just said they've been playing great baseball for last week. They've been playing great baseball since they got swept in New York, which is over about now. So, and games that they look like they lost and they didn't. Taiwan Walker's last couple starts have not been great. He gives up. You had the Luzardo game where he gave up 4 runs in the 1 inning, and those guys, they kept scoring on him. This team is scoring at will. I also want to point out, I want to take my flowers on this one, that I was crazy when they brought in Harrison Bader, thinking, hey, he might be a good two spot guy. Because in my eyes, I would love to see Trey, Bader, Harper, Schwarber as your top 4 lineup. And I've been saying that since he got here. And guess what? I'm taking my.
You know what, Al? I gotta agree with you on that. I think when Trey comes back, you leave Bader. You put Bader in that second spot. I'll tell you what, that makes that Philly lineup.
But here goes. They might have found themselves in a bad situation because now, like I said, speaking of Trey Turner not being here, Alec Bohm not being here, you're also going to want Trey Turner. But now, where does Alec Bohm fit into this lineup? Because they're producing without him.
Well, they're going to slide Bohm right back in. But if they are smart, they leave Otto Kemp on this postseason roster.
Yes.
You got to – this kid is produced. You got to leave him on the roster. And
he's been raking it too. Like Otto Kemp is proving you he does not want to go back to piggy land. He is proven that he get the long ball, double ball, doubles, small ball, whatever you need inside him to do, wherever you need him played. He's your best utility player. Please, he's begging you, do not send me back to Piggyland. I do not deserve to be there. If you want to send Weston Wilson, that's fine. Anyone but him.
Yeah. You got to keep Kemp up on the lineup. And I'm liking the way the bottom of this lineup. Again, if you take notice, when the Phillies start to kind of go on a downward tilt, it's because the bottom of the lineup's not producing. The bottom of the lineup is raking. Bryson Stott is raking down there. When Sosa was in there, he was raking. Like that bottom 3 of that lineup right now, they're turning the lineup over. And Bader's getting more and more. Bader again last night, 3 for 5. Last night. If you're looking, how about Captain Caveman? Nobody's talking about Brandon Marsh.
Yes.
3 run. Three RBIs last night.
A home run. I mean, this dude's sick.
Yeah.
Listen, and you and I are probably going to have to hear the feedback. Well, it's only the Kansas City Royals. They're not even a real MLB team. It's only a bad backwards Mets team. It doesn't matter. Since I know this is only 2 weeks into the September, but they only have 2 losses under their belt. And I get it. They played the Marlins. I get that. And I understand. But like Al said, it was a wake-up call in New York, and they haven't looked back since.
No, and listen, they got slapped in the face up in New York. Okay? The Mets were running around acting like they won the division up there.
Mm-hmm.
And if you watch those three games, when they won that 3rd game, they acted like they won the division. And you know what? This kind of backfired on the Mets because the Mets didn't come in here with the same type of hunger. Phillies got woken up and said, okay, boom. And then once that series was set, once they took the first 2 games, I said the Mets are not winning the game in this series.
No, and listen, I don't think it took the first 2 games. I mean, the Mets are 1-9. We're 9-1, and they're 1-9. They're the mirror image of what the Phillies are right now. And the Phillies, if they play baseball like this with what they have now, they can make some noise in the playoffs. You get Trey Turner back in, you get Alec Bohm back playing well. There's a whole different ball game. I mean, they're still tops to win the from betting standpoint to win the World Series. That should tell you something. That's without Zach Wheeler, might I add. Could you imagine if Zach Wheeler was in this rotation right now? Today's a big day. You got Aaron Nola on the mound, so let's see if he can, continue the way he's been pitching, and put, it's not just we already won the series. Let's sweep the series, and let's not forget all we have to do is win today before the Eagles kick off today. The Phillies can own the East.
That's crazy,
and it is September 14th, might I add.
And it's crazy, like you said too, Al. Like your real X factor has been Noel. Like I'm thinking, like he really set the tone of the week for this squad because he showed you he gotten back to Aaron Nola mode. What was it, Tuesday when they played against the Mets? But he was just locked on. Like he had 7 strikeouts, looked really good. How about Ranger this past week with 12 Ks? Like Rangers looked really good. Like The pitching has been stepped up. Luzardo, the only person that kind of concerns you is the Taiwan Walkers of the world, and you're not going to play against the Kansas City Royals where you can battle down to the wire. I understand that guy puts you in a hole against the Brew Crew or the Dodgers. You're going to find yourself in some trouble because your offense ain't going to be able to keep up like that because you're going to see better pitching throughout the course. So that may be the only thing that scares me. And then again, I don't see Taiwan Walker being in that pitcher rotation come postseason time.
Well, listen, I think you can put Taiwan Walker in there. Taiwan Walker's done a great job this year. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I feel like at times he's been a whipping boy for this Phillies team this year. All that dude's done is kept you in games. He's had 2 bad games, Pat. He's had 2 bad starts all year. All year. Like, yesterday, he gave up 2 runs, man. 2 runs. He's your 5th starter or 6th starter, I should say. Your 6 starters giving up 2 runs. Your team's got to go out and bail him out.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not knocking on Taiwan Walker. Taiwan Walker's done a phenomenal job for the Phillies this year. Go ahead, Al.
Does the paycheck and what he's produced match up? No, but you can't base that on. And based on the fact that Mike has said it a few different times, I got to give a guy who has every reason to shut down outside the contract, which is a big reason not to, but every other mental reason to shut down. He has gotten no love from anybody in the stands. He's gotten no love. I'm sure he was getting. I mean, we saw what it looked like when he would pitch for the team. What it looked like especially last year, like this team just looked like we got to bat. Like, almost like the old scheduled loss situation went on in their head, and it dragged them down. So he's done a yeoman's job of doing what he's supposed to as a number 4 or 5 guy, right? He lately it hasn't been as great, but it's enough to get the job done. But right now, we don't have to worry about Taiwan Walker, hopefully in the postseason, at very least for a long reliever. But even then, I mean, here's the thing is, we are 1 game from the East. We are what,
a game and a half back from leading the National League.
Yes. So, I mean, that's a big thing right there. And if you can do that, you get I'm not a big fan. I'm kind of on the I don't know. How do I put this? I'm kind of on the fence with if I want the Phillies to have a bye week or not, or a small bye or not. The plus is, of course, a little rest, but the biggest plus is you get to set your lineup, your pitching lineup and you don't have to worry about a 4th starter until the NLCS. If you do wild card, then yes, you do. That's number 1. But number 2 is this team is in a good rhythm. Do we want to stop the rhythm? You know what I mean? If they're still in a rhythm, then do you want to stop the rhythm? You can simulate all the games that you guys want. But
well, I mean, listen, if they're giving buys to the 2 top teams in your league, that means you've earned it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I want the buy. I want my team rested. If you got a team like the Giants or the Reds that got to go, like, they got to go to wherever to play, and then they got to come here. Let them go play. I'm not worried about that.
I got to disagree, though. The Taiwan Walker thing, I disagree a little bit. I mean, this guy's put you in a hole more than not. I mean, you can't. And then, I just don't see the positive with him. I don't want him touching the. There's a reason why he don't touch the field come postseason time. Keep him out. He doesn't do, and he doesn't even touch the bullpen either. You got to keep him away. You got to keep him away from the.
Pat, who are they going to roll out there, Pat? You're going to take. You got to remember, they're taking 2 pitchers and moving them to the pen. 2 of the pitchers are going to move to the pen. So Taiwan Walker's 1 guy you're moving to the pen. Who else are you moving?
Well, not really. I mean, not with the absence of Nola. I mean, Wheeler. Now you're going to be okay. You're going to have Nola. You're going to have Ranger.
They have
Suarez.
6 guys, Pat. They have 6 guys. They have Sanchez. They have Ranger, Luzardo, Nola, Walker,
and Walker Buehler.
Walker Buehler.
So here's
about him?
my thing
Yeah,
is,
you were probably good at the bullpen.
I think this is how I look at it. If you're gonna just have a 3-man rotation, you're probably going Sanchi, Nola, Ranger, right? That's your 3-man rotation right there. If you add a fourth one in, it's Luzardo. But if Luzardo has a little bit of a clunker,
Yeah, right.
You can either use Walker Buehler, or worst case scenario, you're going to have to use Taijuan Walker.
No, you forget about Walker Buehler. I think
Walker.
Walker.
No. I just said you're probably using Walker Buehler, or worst case scenario, Taijuan Walker.
I think they're going to use Walker Buehler before they use Luzardo.
Oh, I think so too. I mean, he threw out the last pitch for the Dodgers.
Yeah, I mean, this dude's he's money, and he's just coming back off of an injury. And yeah, we got to give Dombrowski his flowers.
I think, and listen, this is where I've been wrong. I got to give Kevin Long some rose petals because I'm always the first one to give him the thorn bush. But he's been getting this bat and this offense in the gear here. Like he's always, showing these guys and motivating these guys. Brandon Marsh has been better. Otto Kemp, it doesn't matter. 1 through 9, these guys are hitting and clicking right now. This is the hottest they've been in. It doesn't look, they've been on top primarily through the whole course of the summer, like the whole year. Like this baseball team hasn't battled from like 5 games out or anything. Sure, they have some ugly series against the Pirates and some other teams, absolutely. But this team, as by and large past, has been looked really good. And again, I got to give it to the hitting coach Kevin Long.
I think this team's a lot different. I had a lot of feedback from guys on TikTok, some of our friends that do Mets content. And, they kept bringing up last year. Yeah, you guys were this last year. I had to go on there and correctly tell them, I understand where you're coming from. And, yes, guys do have a reference point. But this isn't last year. Last year we didn't have these certain set of guys, okay? Last year, they didn't bounce back like they did. Like, you guys owned us last year and head-to-head. Guess what? They sent a message to you guys this year. We pretty much put the nail in your coffin. You're not going to make the postseason. So that's why I told him, I said, this team is different. If you're going back and looking at your team from a year ago, I was like, and I said to him, I said, your Mets team, I said, is not as good as they were a year ago. I said, this is why I said, you're at where you're at. I said, you guys let some good people walk. I said, I felt like the backbone of your pitching staff last year was Severino. I said, you let him walk. I was like, you let him walk. I was like, so, no, this is a different team. But this Phillies team, to me, is different. I know Maddie's probably going to, call us the three homers or whatever. But watching watching these games, they just seem like a different team. And they seem like a different team from a year ago. Did some of the, I guess, bad habits from a year ago, did they pop up? Yes. But do I feel like they're going to be I feel like they can do I feel like to go to the World Series in the National League, I feel like you have to go through the Philadelphia Phillies. Go ahead, Al.
No,
go.
To me, I just think the Brew Crew to me is your toughest challenge, and that's all around baseball. And maybe, like I said, maybe I'm being the homer, maybe it's me, but no one in the AL really scares me, and I really pay attention like that to the AL. But to me, the Brew Crew to me is the most dangerous. If to me you could beat the Brew Crew in the series, this Phillies team should finish their story, no problem.
So here's the thing is, and Newman brings up a good point. You've had these additions in all these guys, and it cost you tape. You know what I mean? Like that's or T8 or T8 or however you say his name. And Brewers, honestly, you have to give them a little their flowers. I thought they would have kind of cooled down a little bit, and they have in the past. With recently, I should say that's how we've caught up to them. Only 1.5 games out, but they did lock up the playoffs last night as just for those. So they have a playoff berth no matter what. At this point, and we'll be doing the same hopefully today, either with a Mets loss or a Phillies win.
And Aaron Nola's on the hill today too.
Yeah, and Aaron Nola's on the hill, and the importance of that is just. And here's my thing is, I got in an argument with the one Matty B. Not an argument, but we were going back and forth as we tend to do.
Shocker.
I know, shocker, right? And we were talking about how this team was telling me this team was the same. And I was telling him I don't believe that. I've said I've seen flashes of this team when they have struggled with a lot of their listen, when teams struggle, they go back to their bad habits. That's whatever. Every team has 5-10 game losing streaks throughout a 162 game season. Even the best teams. I mean, the Dodgers are, they're holding on to where they're at. They're up and down constantly. Even the Cubs, who were like the hottest team in baseball for a while, have cooled off. I mean, the team is getting hot right now. I've seen glimpses of this team playing like this throughout the year. It just, the consistency wasn't there. And this is the most consistent we've seen this team do this.
Right, exactly. And I'll tell you what, the one thing I've noticed is the outfielders. They've all bought in. The outfielders have all bought in on this team. And that's, to me, is what I'm really seeing. You're seeing guys like Castellanos and Kepler. They're buying in, okay? And I feel like they're actually all starting to produce in their own way. Kepler's become much better at the plate. Now, granted, he's been dog, most of the year. But, again, he was probably, I guess, trying to find his way here, after signing and everything else. Like Topper said the other night, he's finally comfortable enough now to where he's a part of the team. And sometimes that happens for a guy.
Yeah, and I gotta be honest with you too. I think Max Kepler has proven more than not that he's got some pop in the lineup. Again, more of a better pickup than Austin Hayes. Again, he's showing a little bit more to me. I like what he's got. Again, like you said, he's he's showing you some cold streaks, sure, but when he's on. He's showing he's got power. He's showing you can play, split the gaps and all that stuff. So I like what he's offering for this Phillies team. He's doing what you need him to do. Okay, he's a secondary player, not your primary player. He's coming up and scoring for you when you need him to. Again, this is all fine and dandy, and like I said, memory corrected, but I believe they won 2 out of 3 already from this Brew Crew team. So again, like I said, this offense has been clicking. Like again, this past week has shown you. Yes, have they played against better, stellar competition? What's the matter?
The bear is woken.
Well, I know. I figured we poked him a few times. He was going to come roaring out of his cave.
Yeah, he's like Beetlejuice, man.
Let's get to it for a second here. Nooms is saying Will Smith to the IL, hit on pitching hand. Phil should either sweep or win this series. The Dodgers, I'll agree with Pat, which is not often something a sentence I'll say, but right now they are the hottest team in baseball, and it's going to go into what a certain Matty B is saying right now. The question has never been their regular season success. The question is October. Don't sit here in mid-September and crown them the World Series. So number one, I'll take the first part of this. Nobody's crowning them anything. Nobody's crowning them anything. I'm saying one question that everybody has had is this year, especially coming into it, can they be more consistent? Can they win consistently? Can they get more production up and down the lineup? One question that started popping up their head, can Stott come to form? Well, it took him a little while this season. He did. Does Dombrowski's moves ever work out? Well, finally they did. Can they be consistent? Can they play from behind? Can they get smacked in the mouth and bounce back? Can they play a game without having to rely on the long ball? And all those questions have been answered for the most part over the year, but mainly a lot of it over the last 2 to 3 weeks or not more. And they've been doing it without Zach Wheeler. They've been doing it now recently for a week now without Trey Turner, without Alec Boehm in their lineup. Max, remember Trey Turner when he first got here was a mess. They even had they did a documentary on that situation. But the contract made you be patient with him. So Max Kepler, his was a little different, and we don't have to be patient with him, but we are. And again, the other big question was, will the Phillies ever stop making the decisions based on contracts and all this stuff? And look at Nick Castellanos. He's a bench player for the last month, if not longer.
Yeah. And you know what?
And that's it. So I know we can't, this doesn't mean anything about October 1. And I agree with Matty B. Can they do it there? Nobody's crowning them World Series champs. I'm not saying it, but if they play like they are now, even with the squad they have now without Trey Turner and without Alec Boehm, they can make some noise. But my point is, my point to this whole long rant is that we need to see this now because this wasn't there last year.
Right, exactly. They backed in last year, right? I mean,
and they had none of this. Their just team didn't seem like a team. It just seemed like they
this was
this entitlement to them. Like, oh, we should be there. When we get there, we'll be fine. Well, it'll all turn on. But they don't have that, and that's one of the problems we had. So as of right now, they're giving us what we need to see currently.
Yeah, and if you looked at last year too, I mean, they kind of showed you they were kind of out of it. Even going into the postseason against the Mets already had their number, and Mets went for a little bit of a run, but they fell off too. And like I said, Mets were pretty good through most course of the summer. And then look at them, they hit a bump in the road. They can't get off the campus now. Before we go any further, though, this is a go for identification here. We are the It's a Wrap Sports Network at the PM and the AM show right here. And then right after us, we have the Steelers. Steel Sunday pre and post game show right here with these fine four gentlemen here. Well, not so much Will, but John Phillips and so more. Those guys do a great job. They're going to be live on location out there in Pittsburgh. And then, of course, we got, like I said, we're loaded with action today there, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we have a Phillies post game, the finals on today for your Phillies post game, Eagles post game shows, the Birds. Oh man, we're loaded with action here. And then, of course, for your Night Owls, we have the final word with the Mayor Mayfair, Maddie B. So, like I said, we have a lot going on here today. It's going to be a lot, but I do have a question. I did throw it.
Pat, you're cracking. Pat, hold up, mate. You're cracking as you're talking, bro.
Oh, never mind. So Mike, I got to ask you the question. Since it's Philly versus Kansas City today, question of the day is, what Kansas City all-time athlete would you like to see in a Philadelphia uniform?
I would have loved to see George Brett in a Phillies uniform because he would have been playing around the same time as Mike Schmidt. He would have been in that Phillies lineup. And can you imagine a lineup back in the 80s with George Brett, Mike Schmidt, Von Hayes? I mean, to me, you put George Brett on a Phillies team back in the mid-'80s, and the Phillies were probably right there with the New York Mets of that time, the Dodgers. They probably wouldn't have had the pitching, but if you put George Brett on that team, their offensive firepower would have been crazy good. So if I'm looking at a Kansas City athlete who I would take off of Kansas City and put on a Philadelphia team, it would be George Brett, because George Brett could also play first base. So you would have Brett at first base, Mike Schmidt at third base. You're talking about two Hall of Famers in the same infield, man. That would be hard to beat, man.
How about you,
Al? Well, I mean, looking at Chiefs, I would love knowing how important the tight end is nowadays. Tony Gonzalez. Would have loved to see Tony Gonzalez in a Eagles uniform. And if for the Royals, if I wanted to go a little bit more recently, you had Zach Greinke at one point was a Royal, and you had that would add nice to the pitching staff. So, you want to?
I thought you want to go.
And don't forget, you also didn't Carlos Beltran play for them at one point?
Yes.
Yeah. So. Maddie kind of brought up a good question down here. You said where would Rose play? Maddie, I'm talking about post Rose. I'm talking about after he had left the Phillies. Probably 84 is when he left the Phillies. So I'm saying from like 84 on, not beforehand. I mean, Rose was the key piece that won them a title, and you're not replacing a Pete Rose, even with a George Brett. But we're talking I'd say from 84 on, I would have traded for George Brett. And if you could acquire him, can you imagine that lineup with him in it? That's all I'm saying. That would be.
Don't forget, from a youngster standpoint, watching him play recently is Bobby Witt Jr. He's going to be he's a good ball player. I think he would, from a youth standpoint, he could go really well with this Phillies team.
You think so? I mean, I don't know, man. To me, Bobby, for me, I mean, Bobby Witt, to me, I don't know. I think he's a good player. He's probably their best player. But overall, I think he's kind of mid-tier with them. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he might go out and be, maybe he might come out and be something. But to me, he's too inconsistent for me.
Yeah, well, I play the fact that he's on the current Kansas City team a little bit. Didn't Bo Jackson? Did he play for the Chiefs?
Yes, he did. He played for the Royals. Yeah, I forgot all about Bo.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that?
Yep.
You know, and but I remember this, the Lance Parrish. Oh my God. I remember the day they signed him, my friend, literally, his mom went out, his birthday was around the time that I guess free agent signing was going on. She ran out and got him a pinstripe old school Phillies jersey, Lance Parrish jersey, because that was like his favorite player. And yeah, you want to talk about, he was like the Danny Tartable of the 80s. Like he signed with the Phillies.
He played with the Royals too, didn't he?
I believe he did. I know he came from I think he came from Chicago when we got him, but yeah. But I mean, even though
there you go, he did. I forgot about that. Seattle Mariners, Kansas City Royals, Yankees, Oakland Athletics, Chicago White Sox, and the Phillies. I just Googled it.
Yeah, that was like, I remember when people signed it. I actually went to one of the games where Danny Tartable actually played and actually hit a home run. Was there, seen him hit a home run. We never saw him again after. I think he played 2 games that year, and that was it. So I think it was probably the second game, I guess, that he had hit the home run in or whatever. And next thing you know, boom. He says the post-Rose Phillies would have needed more than Brett to win. Yes, they would have, as far as I want to say pitching-wise. But if you put George Brett in that Phillies lineup, I'm sorry, we'll argue this. You know, we're just going to have to agree to disagree on that one, Matty, because you put Brett in the same lineup with Juan Samuel, who was getting on base. You had guys like Samuel, Von Hayes. You had Mike Schmidt. You know, again, they didn't have a great lineup, but he definitely would have made those teams a lot better. And your Septembers would have been a lot better than just waiting to see who was getting called up from at Portland at the time. So, you know,
let me ask you guys a question, since you guys are a little older than me. Like, even getting Joe Montana, you know, coming over here from the tail ends of his Niner days, would you even want for that?
No, because he was washed. He was washed
by then.
Yeah, like I was like, listen, he was so washed by the time he got to Kansas City. I remember a few friends of mine who were Chiefs fans back then were like, oh, yeah, we got Montana. And I was like, you'll never sniff a Super Bowl with him. You'll never sniff, because he was so beat up. Like, that injury that he got from Leonard Marshall of the Giants was gruesome, man. Like, that dude was a shell of himself after that. So, I mean, to me, like I said, if you're going back and looking at some of I like Al's, you know, Tony Gonzalez. Could Tony Gonzalez been a major player for the Eagles in the early 2000s? You know, he could have been a missing piece getting to a Super Bowl. Instead of having Chad Lewis, you had Tony Gonzalez. You know, like, that's a real good one. Bo Jackson, if we want to go back to the late 80s, even though the Phillies weren't really, really good then, they were getting ready to come into it. Can you imagine Bo Jackson being on a team with Lenny Dykstra, you know, in the early 90s? Because he was still playing. Bo was still playing then. So, again, there's a lot of people that you could think of coming off. You said Rich Gannon. Rich Gannon was a great quarterback, man. He was a great quarterback, you know. But I'll tell you another guy, too, Derek Thomas. Could we not have used Derek Thomas?
I was thinking about Derek Thomas, too. So, Mike, let's talk about it, though. Big game today. Eagles, Chiefs. You know, the Chiefs, you know, they haven't.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Hold on. Ozzie Virgil, Len Matuzak. Holy Christ. I remember those guys. Yeah, Ivan DeJesus was kind of past his prime. That was the infamous he's the guy that got traded for Ryan Sandberg and Larry Boa. I do remember that. Ozzie Virgil was kind of okay-ish. He was there to mentor. Remember, if you remember, he was there to remember what's his face. He was mentoring Dalton at that time. So yeah, you can say that lineup stunk, but I'll tell you what. He said Carlton, John Denny, Charlie Hudson. Charlie Hudson was a stud. I don't care what anybody says. Charlie Hudson was a stud. He was one of my favorite Phillies as a kid. I actually got to meet him, dude. He was a stud pitcher. I didn't like Kuzman. John Denny, I thought was really good back in the day with them guys. But yeah, I you know, getting back to what you're saying, Pat, I cannot wait for 4:50 or 4:25, whenever this kickoff is, because I think it's going to be a replica of the Super Bowl. I think it's going to be belts to ass today. I think the Eagles are going to kick their ass.
Oh,
I don't think it's going to be close. You got to
really?
I don't think it's going to be close. And you guys called me nuts last year when I said the Super Bowl wasn't going to be close. It's not going to be close. The Eagles are the better team. You got a pissed off A.J. Brown who only got one catch. You got Devontae Smith who only had 3 catches. You don't think they're not going to try to get him the ball today? They're not going to.
Well, I mean, if they do, like I said, to me, I'm going to push back a little bit. This is going to be a Chiefs team who got embarrassed by this Eagles team in the Super Bowl. Again, the Chiefs are coming off a loss now. They got to show a W at some point, and I'm afraid it may be today. Again, you're not going to have Jalen Carter out there because the one game suspension. You're
all right, Matty. Okay, Matty. Okay,
wow.
Matty.
You're not going to have Jalen Carter today. No Dallas Goedert.
You got Jalen Carter today.
This may be a Chiefs game, and I won't be mad if
Jalen Carter's
depends how the game
Pat.
falls. But I think the Chiefs may come out with the W. I think it's going to be a close one.
Pat, you said Jalen Carter's not playing today. He's playing today. Jalen Carter's he's playing today. So they got him. Yes, they don't have Dallas Goedert, but I guess we're getting used to not having Dallas Goedert because he misses 2 or 3 games a year anyway. So I'm not worried about that. Okay. Yes, they're not going to throw to the tight ends. You know what they're going to do? They're going to throw to the backs. They're going to throw to the backs, man. And then that's it. They're going to throw to the backs. They're going to get AJ the ball, and they're going to run Saquon Barkley. They're going to mix in some Dylan with them. And don't forget, they also got Tank Bigsby this week, too. They went and got him. So they're going to have a nice – and Tank Bigsby can catch the ball out the backfield. So the Eagles are going to be okay to replace Goddard's production. My thing is this defense. Yes. Yeah. I think they're going to move. You're going to see Adoree Jackson start. I think they're going to give him a little bit of safety help over the top. I would like to see more Andrew Mukuba today than Sidney Brown. I don't feel like you're going to need Sidney Brown because I don't feel like they're going to be able to run the ball. Not with Carter back in this game. Also, remember, starting today too as well, Zadarius Smith will also be playing today. He won't be starting, but he'll be in that rotation. Now, I want to see today's a day you let a guy like Ojulari, you bring him all, you don't sit him today because he's the type of guy that can go after a guy like Patrick Mahomes. You bring Ojulari in to be your other pass rusher. Again, look what the Chargers did to them in Brazil. All I'm going to bring up to you is this, Pat. Remember last year, the Eagles won the game in Brazil, had an extra day of rest, and they still look like crap coming into that Monday night game against the Falcons. They're about to find out that them doing that game down there, they are going to find out that they are going to have literally that time change difference and them getting ready. It's going to mess up their schedule. Kansas City's not going to look good this week. It's really not. It's really, really not.
Well, you're right. They're not going to have Xavier Worthy with them today. Jalen Royal is not going to be with them today. I mean, they got Hollywood Brown with them, who had 10 catches for 99 yards last week. Patrick Mahomes had 24 completions, 258 yards with 1 TD.
Yeah, but that was all garbage time, though. That's all. I watched that game. Right. That was all garbage time. That Chargers front did the exact same thing the Eagles front did to them in the Super Bowl. And the Eagles front is better than the Chargers front. And the Chargers were able to run the ball on them. Oh, my God, Najee Harris looked like he was back in Alabama watching that game. Like, what do you think Barkley's going to do to them? Even if they load up to try to stop Barkley, now you're putting them in a bad positioning. And I'll tell you what, another guy to look out for in this game today is Jahan Dotson. Watch for Jahan Dotson today.
Yes. Listen, last week he made some plays. What kind of lead me to my point. I mean, A.J. Brown's got to get busy today. He can't just have one catch late in the second half or, whatever. He's got to be in more of a play. I mean, I think he'll see more touches today, especially without Dallas Goedert. Again, I'm curious to know how the run game's going to look today because, they're going to try to stop Saquon. You're not going to have Will Shipley out there. You're going to have A.J. Dillon out there. So, again, I wonder how the running out of the backfield is going to look like. A lot of questions. And I wonder what kind of blitz packages is Vic Fangio going to come up with today?
I don't think he's more nickel. I don't think he's going to need as much blitz packages as a lot of people think. You got to remember, Jalen Carter got kicked out of the game. They had to throw their whole defensive thing out of the window because now you didn't have your tackle. You didn't have your premier stud defensive tackle in there, which, by the way, let's give some love to Ajomo and Jordan Davis because they played their asses off in that game. And I thought and Jordan Davis was getting pressure. So now you bring Jalen Carter back in. I'm not sold on this Kansas City line. I don't care about Patrick Mahomes. I don't think he's going to have time to throw the ball today. And guess what? We saw what happens when he doesn't have time to throw the ball. I'm not really, so I look at it like this. I don't think it's going to be a total blowout like it was in the Super Bowl, but I think, I agree with you on this one right there. That was a trade that Philly should have never made. I love Von Hayes, one of my favorite players, but I also liked Julio Franco. But yeah, getting back to that, I don't think that they're going to be able to score on this Eagles defense. And it's because they don't have Rashid Rice. They don't have Xavier Worthy. Your only guys that you have there is Hollywood Brown and Travis Kelce. And you got Pacheco who can run the ball. You got Pacheco and Hunt that can run the ball. That's it.
And to the boss right here, to the mayor, to the Don Corleone, yes, I am ready. It finally, like you said, it only took me 2 months to finally figure out how to get 2 antennas with a dog attached to it to get my internet working. But I found a way. When there's a way, there's me. So again, before I go any more for state identification, we are on the It's a Wrap Sports, the PM and the AM show live as we do set your work week. Your Sundays will never be the same because we touch and grab everything here.
Whoa, back up, pause. No, we are not grabbing nothing. Coffee rule is still in effect. I know you've been in Siberia. Coffee rule is still in effect. We are not grabbing nothing. What you doing your Saturday nights are your business, buddy. Not us.
It's like mopping. Pull, grab, touch. So again, we have a lot going on today. Again, it's full slate of action right here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. We are building our network up here. As you see, like I said, these 4 fine gentlemen. We got a Phillies post-game show. There you are. We got Matty Ice. We got the Eagles post-game show. Oh, we are living it up here. And, of course, you got the Godfather for all you night owls who are around tonight. Make sure you catch my man, Matty B. Because he will take you through and talk some Philadelphia sports. I'm pretty sure he's going to respond to us. Anytime I think that Matty B listens to the PM and AM show, I think he lines the three, me, you, and Al up like the Three Stooges and comes across.
Well, listen, I will say this. I love Matty's show, and my favorite segment of his show is This Day in Philadelphia Sports History.
Yes. So, yes, I am. No, I'm eating. Adam, you weirdo. But listen, we like I said, we got a lot going on here. Eagles, Chiefs today. Guys, if you're listening to the show, what's your prediction? Please dial it in. I mean, Mike thinks it's going to be dominance. Al, where are you at on this bounce beam?
I don't know about dominance in this one. It's still week 2. Everything's a little shaky. They're moving Marcus Epps up from the practice squad. I don't know what that tells you right there. Tank Bigsby, I don't know how much he's going to have how much he'll be playing this week, based on he's just getting here. AJ Brown could be a big factor, but it's not AJ Brown to get the ball to him. It's the game planning to get the ball to AJ Brown. Now, is Kevin Batula going to change some things up? Was he going very vanilla against the Cowboys? Time will tell. Having Jalen Carter in there is a big difference, but the Chiefs have lost to us in the Super Bowl. That's 2 different teams. I mean, that Eagles team was hot, was on fire. This Eagles team still getting their 2025 rust ready to get off and ready to go. So I think it's to be a closer game, and since it's a home game, I honestly think the Chiefs might squeak one out here.
Yeah, I think so too. I guys, as much as I want to be hyped for the Birds, I think it's going to be close. I think it may be the other way, Adam. I think it's going to be 27-17 Chiefs, but I've been wrong before. So, I thought I was I've been wrong plenty of times. It's not my first, so I'm hoping I'm wrong.
Yeah, well, I'm not seeing it that way. I'm seeing it, I want to say probably 27. I'll say 27-13 Birds. The Eagles defense is better than the Chargers defense. and they only scored 20 because the Chargers took their foot off of the gas in that game. Pat Mahomes had to run and throw for his life. What do you think he's going to be doing today? No Xavier Worthy. Again, he's going to have everything that they did was just there. And Justin Herbert played the game of his life. Okay. Literally
True.
played the game of his life in that game. And they were able, like I said, Najee Harris was running through that Chiefs defense like a hot knife through butter for most of that game. What do you think Barkley's going to do? And I'm sorry, those cornerbacks, they were getting eaten up by Ladd McConkey. Keenan Allen was killing them. Ladd McConkey and Keenan Allen were killing them. What do you think A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are going to do to them? I'm sorry. Like, I think the score's not going to indicate how close the game was, because I feel like in what we call trash time, I think Mahomes will do like he did in the Super Bowl. He'll get a touchdown. He'll get 10 points. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was, I say in 27-13. I think the Chiefs may get a little more than 13. I'll say 27, maybe 27-17, like Adam's saying here. But that's about it. Like, I don't see them going down the field scoring on this Eagles defense. Not when they're missing people. Now, if they had Xavier Worthy and they had Rashid Rice in this game, then yeah, it's a whole different ballgame, because now you got three good wideouts that are going to be going down the field. You would have Worthy, you would have Rice, you would have Hollywood Brown. So then, yes, it's a different team, different ballgame. But like Steve's saying, it's all about the trenches today, and the Eagles are better on both sides of the ball in the trenches. They're still better. And you also got to remember, too, Jalen Hurts has already gone to Kansas City and won. So there is no aura of going into that place. He went in there on a Monday night with a bunch of nobodies and a bad defense and beat Patrick Mahomes there. So, again, they're better in the trenches. The team with the better trenches usually wins the game, and I think the Eagles are going to win the game today, and I don't think it's going to be a good game for Patrick Mahomes. I really, truly don't. I think the Eagles got their number.
Well, I mean, like I said, if they could get to me, they could get to him early and bring the pressure and get him rattled like it did in the Super Bowl. Then yeah, then it becomes a day at the beach. But again, it's
never a day at the beach, Pat. But I'm saying they got
what kind of beach I go to.
I don't care.
Okay,
don't tell us.
Okay, I mean, as long as there was clarification on that. But again, big day. Like I said, we all know, like you said, dealing with Patrick Mahomes, explosive quarterback, he go off any minute. It's going to be weird. Do you think is there a Jason Kelce sighting today?
Who cares?
I don't care.
And I love Jason Kelce. I don't want to. I mean, he'd probably go to watch his brother. I love him.
I don't care.
I don't see him. I don't want to. I'm worried about the Eagles playing. I'm not worried about him. I'm not worried about T Swift or the ring on her finger and all this stuff that she could probably. It'd be like getting a ring out of a Cracker Jack box because of the money she makes. Yeah. You know, like
right.
I'm worried about. I'm worried
what happens on the field.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that place, bud. Nothing wrong with that, cousin Steve.
Listen, Pat. I got a little 5-pack for you guys today. That I did on Prop Stocks and Parlays. So I'm going to reiterate today some of the games that I took going into today. One, I took the Pittsburgh Steelers -3. I think they're better than Seattle. Seattle's got to come across country. It's a 1:00 game. Never a good thing with that. I took Pittsburgh -3. I'm also taking the Denver Broncos -1.5. I kind of like Denver to have a bounce back game this week. I took the Tampa Bay Bucks tomorrow night. This game grabbed me when me and Paul were talking about this on Wednesday. Tampa is a 2.5 point dog. This week against Houston. I don't see it. Like, Houston couldn't score. I took Tampa plus the 2.5. Two more 1:00 games today. I took the Rams -5.5 in their matchup, and I'm going with the Dallas Cowboys. I took Dallas -6 over the Giants. You could probably raise that as high as 10 and still cover. I think Dallas is going to blow them out. So there's my 6-pack or my 5-pack for the week.
Mike, what's your game to watch for today? Other than the Birds and Chiefs?
This is what I'm doing. The Birds don't play till 4:15, so I am going to have Red Zone on the fancy thinking box right here, and I'm putting the Phillies on. I'm putting the Phillies on, and we're going to do something today. I still don't know what the home foreman wants to do for the middle of the day yet, but
pasta here, buddy.
Yeah, I had pasta yesterday, man. I had tortellinis yesterday, cheese tortellinis.
Talking to the biggest tortellini right there, Pat Bernard.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know what we're doing yet but hopefully it's something good, and we want to go and do something. But it's going to be a full Philly day sports here in this household anyway.
Rob, I mean, listen, my day is pretty much set for the program today. Got this. I'm going to be watching this Steel City guys, and I'm going to watch some PLL championship action. Then I got the Phils, Birds. I'm loaded with action today. So listen, like I said, other news. Me and Steve will be back Thursday. Yes, I will be at the Attacking Third on Thursday. Even though this team took the worst punch ever yesterday, getting dominated 7-0 as the Philadelphia Union, still leading the league in points and all that stuff. So there could have been a scheduled loss yesterday. And who cares? But again, and for you Philadelphia Wings fans, yes, Philadelphia Wings will start their season on December 13th. For all you Wings lacrosse heads out there. But so again, I'll get to hang with my guy Paul Day once again. So
don't make him cry this time.
Huh?
Don't make him cry again, you bully.
No, we've grown from that. We're buddies now. But anyway, Al, like I said, you and I feeling the Eagles lost. Al, what's your game to watch other than the Eagles and Chiefs?
Eagles and Chefs, did you say?
Chefs, yeah.
Oh my God. Today, a lot of people in the area probably locked in that Cowboys-Giants game just because it's two rivals. I just hope Giants win just to even out the win-loss ratio here a little bit. But if I'm looking at anything are you asking from importance as a Philly fan, or are you asking for just something fun to watch?
Something fun to watch, something that catches your eye, like, hey, listen, let me check out this game.
To be perfectly honest, a lot of the lineup is not that great. I mean, the Packers-Commanders was probably one of the bigger ones you would thought would be worth watching, but of course that game's over. Bills-Jets, maybe. That's a divisional rivalry. Jets are trying to be better. Bills are looking to make a stink. And then maybe you got Ravens-Browns, but I'm not a big fan of the Browns being any good this year at all. So Bears-Lions, can the Bears be better than they thought? Because the Lions what we saw the other week? Was that something? Was it an anomaly? Was it something worth looking into? We'll find out. Other than that, the matchups are pretty. Maybe the Bucs.
I don't know. I think the Steelers Seahawks could be a pretty decent game. Definitely going to be low scoring, but you could definitely. I think that would be a good game. But I got to agree. If you really you kind of want to tune in on what the Cowboys are doing with them. But I think the Bills-Jets game, just because of how good the Jets played a week ago, just how good they played, I would definitely I might dive into that Bills Jets game and see what they're doing.
Yes, Cousin Steve, you definitely should be watching your Wings. Absolutely. I'm doing ribs, corn. Adam says I'm doing ribs, corn on the cob, and macaroni salad, chicken. Oh, man. What a home run you got there. You hit for the cycle there, Adam.
Man, party at Adam's house.
Yeah, can we come?
No, he ain't got enough food.
I promise not to be weird.
Yeah, right.
Well, then, are you not coming?
I guess that answers your question. So
he's the only guy I know that moans when he's eating chicken.
Man,
not with his mouth, that's the weird part.
So like I said, guys, we're about to get ready to get out of here. This has been a great episode. Pulled pork mac and cheese. I love it. That's a good move right there. That's a good pull by you. No pun intended.
So Pat, you're doing pasta again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Something new. I'm gonna do a little pasta today. I mean, I had tacos yesterday.
Way more pasta than I do. I don't know. Whatever. I just feel like
it's Sunday, Al. You know what that means.
I feel like if I go to the Bernard household and I open up all the cabinets, just boxes full of pasta. You know what I mean?
Bonjour, Al.
Bonjour. On that note, guys, thank you for
Yeah,
joining
man,
us.
it's going to be a good day for sports. Again, guys, stay tuned. Like I said, for state identification, we're about to log out of here. Stay still, because if you are a Steelers fan and you want to know, or just want to know what's going on across the state, this is the handoff. You got our guy Will, John Phillips. Those guys will be doing a Pittsburgh Steelers post-game show and pre-game show coming up here. So if you have any Steelers questions you want to ask, again, we have an Eagles post-game show as well. We have the Chiefs. We had the Phillies post game here, the final.
Oh boy, he went bye-bye.
Even the internet kicked him off. So yeah, don't forget, Matty B will be closing out tonight both the Phillies Fightins final post game as well as himself tonight at 10 o'clock. And here is your lineup for Monday. You got another Matty B Monday. Tuesday with Steve, and then Matty B on Wednesday. Late games this week, guys. So join us for Pat Bernard hitting the wrong button on his phone, for Mike Lauro sitting here with me still. I'm Big Al, and go Phils, go Birds, go have a great Sunday, guys. Check it out. Take it easy.